Hey everybody, I'm here again with another interview. This is of a friend of mine. I've known her for quite a while. I've played her on my podcast loads. She did me a kick-ass intro for my Norse mythology theme show a while back. And this is LadyAxe. We just call her Axe today. And tell us your story. Tell us your history. Where does LadyAxe come from?
My story is very long. Are you sure you're ready for it?
I'm ready for an epic saga. I'll drink my beer while you recite your epic saga.
Okay, I'm from South Africa. I actually broke into the metal scene when I was 18 years old. I was apparently, as far as we know, the first female heavy metal artist in the Southern Hemisphere. So I was 18, signed to In-House Records, and all the other bands at the stable were death metal bands. So I was the only chick. I was the only power metal artist. So that's how it started out. And then, I don't know, things got, life got ahead of me. And then about 15 years later, I was asked to do an end credit song for a UK horror film called The Ghost of Crowley Hall. That's the beauty of MySpace back then.
Yeah.
They were on MySpace and they were complaining they can't afford license for a Marilyn Manson song they wanted to use. And I just, by the way, just said, "Oh, what were you looking for? I used to be a musician." And they go, "Can you write a song about Crowley Hall? And we can't pay you, but we can put your music video on the DVD." And that's what happened.
Cool.
And then from that, I got called by the organizers of the Namibian Metal Fest in 2009. They wanted us to headline. I had no band. So what happened was, and this is like a chain reaction stuff happening. One of my short films was an extra on this DVD, and one of my music videos was an extra on this DVD. So from one side, I got into the film festival scene as a horror filmmaker. And on the other side, we headlined the Metal Fest. But I couldn't find musicians that were dedicated. Like, everybody wanted to do it until you have to have band practice. Then, oh, I've got date night with my girlfriend. Oh, I've got to go to a wedding. Shit like that. So I asked my mother, who was 55 at the time, because she used to play drums in bands.
Yeah.
I said to her, "Remember when you said you wanted to play drums live just one more time in your life?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "How's about now?" And I got her to play drums, and my daughter at the time was 15, and I got her on guitar, and we headlined the Windhoek Metal Fest as 3 generations of women from the same family in one band.
Yeah.
So from those songs came people who wanted the songs, but we had no way to record, me and Anushka.
Yeah.
Because she's always been my sidekick. This is a solo project, but she always helps out on solos because I really suck at lead guitar. Okay. Rhythm is my thing. So I had to record Demonized, which was my first demo compilation.
Yeah.
And that's what they were. They were absolute horseshit. Band practice level garage bootleg shit. But people seem to like the songs. So even though they were recorded on Audacity, it was something they wanted. So I released that as a demo compilation. And that's where it started.
Yeah.
So from there on, the other albums came as I got better at recording stuff.
Yeah.
Because I can never afford a studio, and I don't have any musicians and stuff like that. So it's always been like a makeshift thing. Always been working with what I've got at that time.
But you've become an expert at doing that, though, haven't you? You've always been doing your own thing and putting it together yourself, and you can't always tell listening to your recordings that are done by not in a big studio almost.
Are you serious? I can hear the bad production. That's all I can. Before people listen to my stuff, I always warn them: it's clean singing. Beware.
Yeah.
And secondly, it's lo-fi because I do everything myself, and I know jack shit about sound engineering.
Yeah, it sounds good to me. It always sounds good to me. What the ones I've played on my show and all that. And what came after the Demonized demos? Was it straight to Asatru, was it?
Yeah, that same year that was released, my tattoo artist at the time, I said to her, "Can I show the tattoo on my band page?" And she said, "Sure, do you have a band?" I'm like, "Yeah." And the next day I went back there for her to do the coloring. She said, "You know what? My husband says he knows you. He knows you from Demonized. And
Right.
he would kill to track you guys, to record you." And I was like, "Yeah, but I can't afford that and everything." And she said, "No, no, 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 no. That's how this came about. That's how we met Jan, who then recorded Asatru for us, which
Right.
is, I think it was 7 tracks. It was something small. Um, that's how that's the first time I saw Reaper. It scared me to death. So that's how that came about. That's when I went into the Viking metal thing for the first time.
Yeah, because I mean, are you a follower of the Asatru belief? How did you become like Viking kind of influenced with your sound? Was there Viking influence stuff on the compilation, the first compilation, or did that come
Always,
later on?
always, always. I've been Viking insane long before it was a trend.
Yeah,
I was into Vikings when Manowar came out. When I came onto Manowar when I was 16 years old. So
yeah,
that's how I got into that world. I didn't know anything about it, and I got into Vikings and I got into Norse mythology. And as that evolved, when you get deeper into it, you eventually find out about they're not just gods. There's a whole lifestyle thing to it, which is what Asatru is to me. It's not. It probably is recognized as a religion. I don't see it that way for me, though. I just like the 9 virtues and to live according to that. I don't like orders given. That's my problem with other religions. I don't
yeah.
take orders. I'd rather hear what I should strive to be than what I am not. You see, so I don't need to know.
Trying to work that out. That's quite deep. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
because
quite shallow, so it was like,
other religions tell you what you are not. You're not
right.
good. You're not
Yeah,
fair. You're
you're a
not. You're
sinner.
dirty. You're filthy. You're yes.
Yeah,
Where Asatru encourages you to be the best you can be at any given moment.
yeah.
And to me, that was what I really wanted to portray when I made Asatru. To also include, yes, the gods and so on, but what the gods actually represent in the human psyche.
Right.
Because I believe every god in every pantheon is not supposed to be humanoid. They're not supposed to look like people because they're not people. Gods are supposed to be qualities that we
Right.
possess.
Yeah.
And that's how I see gods, that I don't worship any, but I revere them. And
Right.
that goes from the trees to the sea to the thunder to who I am to strength to fire to all that shit. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, that's pretty deep. So, Asatru, the album was like, what's your favorite track on there? Give us a rundown of some of the songs on there. What was
That's so long ago. I'd have to open a tab and see what I've got on there. Asatru,
That's
I haven't thought of Asatru or played it in years.
true
Um,
because you're not really doing that many. You haven't done any live gigs since that Namibian festival. Have you done any live gigs since then?
yes,
You
I
do.
did. In 2015, actually, the end of that
All
year
right.
when we recorded Asatru, it was released, I think, in early 2016. But
Right.
in 2015, we played at the New Year's Bash of Destruction. It was a
Mm.
huge festival for New Year's,
Mm.
and that's when we played most of the songs from Asatru.
Yeah.
My favorite song on there is Bloeddronk,
Oh yeah. Isn't
which
it about
means blood
Berserker,
drunk.
isn't it? Is it about
Yes.
Berserker? Yeah, I remember playing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the intro. I love the intro as well because it's very Enya-ish,
right.
because it needed to be that way because there's two sides to the Viking mythos or ideology. To me, it is a very, like you say, deep, a very deep side, which is what the intro to Bloeddronk is, Asatru. and that's the chants and the slow part. So I
Yeah.
like that as well. But it goes into Bloeddronk, which to me, the problem with this album was that the same problem I always have. I don't have a drummer. I don't have decent drums. I had a
Yeah.
drum kit and I can play drums, but my room was so tiny where we recorded, we couldn't put up drum kit. And what I
No.
hated the most about it was that all the songs didn't have decent drums. It was typical what I call, those old Casio keyboards with the drum.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it sounds to me. And although Bloeddronk is my favorite because it has, in my opinion, a catchy chorus and bloody lyrics, I could really get into it because it's probably the song that represents me the most on that album. So
Yeah.
that is my favorite song. Yeah,
You got that berserker spirit. So when you get angry,
totally.
do you go, ah! You go
Yes,
through.
yes, I flip completely. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to push me. But Jesus, when I switch,
Yeah.
I go.
Killer
Who's the
mode.
right person? Yes, I'm thinking of a movie character I can use or something. Like I
Conan
can't remember.
or.
Just completely like I'm nice to you, or I want to slit your throat. That's it. That's my
Yeah.
only two parts. So that song really, I enjoyed doing it live as well because of the passion in it.
Yeah.
And you can get away with murder when you sing about it.
You seem to be quite prolific recently as well. It's like you bringing that stuff pretty frequently. Because you're quite kind of like solitary. You for a while because you moved to Ireland, didn't you? You lived in a little cottage in the middle of nowhere almost, and you was like
Yes,
spending all your time writing stuff. And you've got another one coming up as well, haven't you?
yes.
But yeah. What's the one out? So next you had In the Lair of the Bear Mother, and that was kind of like a new persona for you, wasn't it? You got LadyAxe, like the Viking, and now you're like a more of a nurturing kind of goddess kind of feel, like a bear mother. Like the bear obviously is vicious and dangerous, so don't mess with the
Yes.
bear, but the mother is like the nurturing and the looking after the children
The
kind of
life
thing.
lessons on it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The thing with that was I made the song Ekati. I wasn't going. I made a satru and I was happy with it, but I thought I've always had this problem where I wait. I wait for maybe I'll have an opportunity to have a band together, and eventually I got sick of it. I got sick of waiting.
yeah.
So I recorded the song Ekati for Halloween 2018, just for fun. I did it on Audacity, not even on Reaper. It was literally just a song for Halloween.
Yeah.
And the reception of that, people loved it so much. People would listen to it and say, "So where's the album for this?" And I thought they were joking, and they were like, "No, but this is nice. Where's the rest? Do you have is this from an album?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, it's upcoming. It's an upcoming album." Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And so I felt pressured to actually make an album from it, which I did in the following month. Me, who knows nothing about recording, and you can hear it.
But you've taught yourself as you've gone along, haven't you? You've not allowed the fact that you was like on your own. You just like cracked on like I'm gonna fucking do
Yes,
this. Yeah,
exactly. I've
total
got this,
warrior
and I've got
spirit.
I've got to do this because I don't want to sound all cheesy and everything. But the music has to be born. And whether you're ready or whether you're in the right place, it doesn't matter. It's like it's clawing on the inside of me. I have to. I have to make music. And with Bear Mother, uh, with the Viking thing of Asatru, I already felt more like this is who I am. But with Bear Mother, I took a leap and decided not to be intimidated by what I think people want. And this time I did whatever the fuck I wanted to. And I became the bear mother because that's actually a very interesting piece of trivia. How I am the bear mother since I was 4 years old. I actually saw a grizzly bear in a vision at 4 years old. And it told me that I am the bear mother. Now, I was too young to drink. I wasn't on drugs. And sat up in my bed during the thunderstorm waiting because my dad always used to come and fetch me when I was little when there's thunder outside because he thought I'd be afraid. And he'd come and get me and put me in bed with me and my mom, with him and
Yeah.
my mom. And that night, I sat up in bed because I could hear my dad coming down the corridor. But it wasn't my dad, it was a bear. So my mother always said to me, "Oh, you had a nightmare." I said, "But I was awake, sitting up
Yeah.
in my bed, waiting for dad because I thought it was
Yeah.
dad." And it was a bear that walked into my room like a man and told me I'm the bear mother. No idea what that meant, never cared about it. For the rest of my life, didn't care about it until I realized that it has a significance to it. And that's why I've got this tattoo that says Karu. Karu is Finnish for bear, and
Right.
then the bear claw.
All right.
So
Cool.
bear mother was more like my journey. It was my kind of what I wanted people to know that I noticed nobody else ever said, to do the life lessons on the album and the explanations of certain songs because certain songs are led in by narrated pieces like Bear Mother Speaks the Welcome, Bear Mother Speaks the LadyAxe, Bear Mother
Yeah.
Speaks Wara Wara Wara. And each of those lead into the next song to explain what that song means.
Yeah.
And I know this is not the norm for an album to be like that, but I figured, hey, it's my album. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
And
You've got to make it
nobody,
your own. Do whatever you feel.
exactly. I'm not asking anyone to buy it. It's for me. If you like it, buy it. You know. And that was the first bit of freedom I tasted about not giving a shit what you think people want.
Mm.
Do what you want, and there will always be people who get you.
Yeah.
Even if they're like very few people, they will get you.
I mean, people talk about you can tell when music is true and when it's from the heart and from the soul kind of thing. So people would like see that you're doing your thing exactly how you. Obviously, you'd nice if you had like a £1 million studio helping you along, but you
Yeah, it
fucking
would be.
you don't need. I don't think you need it. I mean, it'll be nice, but you don't need it because you fucking there's something. Maybe a little bit of rawness because of the fact you're doing it like in a bedroom or whatever.
Maybe some people think that it's deliberate. So that became my thing. I was always self-conscious because it's so raw. But
Yeah.
then I realized people go, "Oh man, that's metal as fuck." And I thought,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, I intended to make it that way." So it sort of became my thing.
Yeah. It reminds me of was it Buddy Holly and the Crickets, and there was crickets making noises when I was trying to record, like in the and that kind of like it was something like in a studio thing like that where it's not all pristine and that where it has probably some other ambient tones like in the
Yeah,
house or whatever to make it different. You might have a
yeah,
ghost in the house or somehow
exactly.
picked up on the walls or something. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta do with what you've got. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you got a fan in the chat, a guy called Gaz from South America. He says he's got a couple of your records. Apparently, he says you're a very sweet and down to earth person, unless you're angered. He didn't say that, but I'm adding that
Wow.
bit in.
Oh, all right. That's nice.
Yeah. Right. What's your favourite song
Yeah, I
on
wouldn't
the?
mind.
What's your favourite song in the lair of the Bear Mother? Then.
Oh, you
What's
can't
your
ask me that.
I
Oh,
can. I'm the interviewer.
oh, shit.
or another
Oh,
thing, another thing I like to ask. Maybe not a favourite song, but because I used to write my lyrics for my band. A favourite lyric, like a lyric that when you sing it, like there's some just an extra kind of X factor to it. That when you sing the lyric, somehow it resonates more deeply with you. Have you got any lyric like that on there?
you caught me off guard with that, actually,
Yeah.
because
Well.
I haven't listened to that album in ages, and
Yeah.
because I'm so busy with the new stuff now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have so many favorite songs though, but there are one of the songs, "Here Be Monsters." It's a very insignificant song on the album. It's not one of the best ones, but
Mm.
there's the chorus of that one. Jesus, I can't remember the lyrics, but it's to the effect of My heart grew scales in the night. It's about here be monsters being don't love me because here be monsters. I've been fucked
Right.
up too much, you know?
Yeah.
And
This is.
in the chorus, I liken my heart to a sub aquatic monster, like the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the night, my heart grew scales. That's
So
one
it's
of
like
my favorite
armored,
lyrics.
armored against feeling any emotions,
Yes,
that kind of thing.
yes, it became a monster. It became scaled. I think
Right.
if any lyrics that I can recall now, that's probably those that I feel like, yeah,
Yeah.
this has
What
real meaning.
was there still as a true kind of? I know Hecate is like an old goddess, but not from Norse mythology. So
Oh,
was you exploring different themes rather than just the Viking Norse mythology themes?
exactly. That's I wanted to because Bear Mother. I wanted to explore different avenues, not just of mythology, but of witchcraft,
Yeah.
and even songs that you can't tell are about witchcraft. They are, you know.
Right.
The Bear Mother speaks parts. Apart from the explanations, the Bear Mother speaks is very based in watch who you are, you know, and what could happen to you. Also, the Norse mythology kicks in the song Vegvisser, which was mostly written by my daughter. She had this idea of a man of warish kind of song, and she
Yeah.
does a lot of the guitars on that as well. That song as well is prevalent of what I wanted to say with this album. Um, Vegvisser, I believe, and I learned this too late in life, was that you must recognize the signs that that lead you where you're supposed to go. And
Right.
if you don't recognize those signs, you will end up in the wrong place. And that's why so many people are so unhappy. They don't see their Vegvisers, which is a road
No.
sign.
Right.
You don't recognize a sign. Most people think if something bad happens to them, like I lost my home, it's a bad thing, but
Hmm.
it's something else in disguise. You know, see it as a sign of something else. Don't fight it.
Like a
And
new
that's what.
beginning.
Yes, Bear Mother is
Hmm.
very much about life lessons and about things I wish I knew when I was younger. And I'm not talking about 20 years old. I wish I knew that when I was 35. You
Hmm.
know? Shit I only learned now, things I only see it away now that I wish if I knew that then. And that's why I'm trying to warn other people. If you listen to the album, read the lyrics, it might tell you something that you didn't know. A way of a perception that you didn't
Yeah.
have. So that's more or less that's why I incorporate a lot of witchcraft and folklore, and because to me, mythology and folklore are specifically lessons in psychology. I bring the two together that way.
Yeah.
So Bear Mother is it's much darker. It's much darker. It's about the lair of the Bear Mother to be in my mind.
Right. So that's Delirious in your mind. That's cool. And Hecate, because like the god, because like before the man gods came along, it was all there was so many female goddesses, weren't there? Goddesses were like
Yeah.
more prevalent in like
Oh
a
yeah.
yeah, like because
I'm trying.
women to
I'm
be
trying not to
worshipped.
be. I'm trying not to be a feminist here, but I truly believe that everything comes from feminine, and that
Yeah.
all the old gods were female because they are the creators. But you need a male energy to counter that. So I believe also that that is why religion has always subjugated women,
Yeah.
because they fear us. They fear
Yeah.
the power of the feminine, sacred feminine.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go into that.
Well, no, we should go into that. All that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff is I love all that kind of stuff. It's all very interesting to me. But okay, so
People quickly jump to the conclusion, oh, it's a feminazi again. That's not what it's about. It's
yeah,
it's
yes. People
it's
have got
not
too many
about.
labels for people, and most of the time they don't try and listen to their points. They have like a knee-jerk reaction to whatever they think they
Oh,
are, and they won't. And like certain,
they've made
people
up
have
their
got
mind.
yeah. I mean, I think everyone's got like points which are probably good, but maybe not everything they say. But there's certainly are points, and you shouldn't just dismiss people offhand. Just
Exactly.
there's a lot of that goes
Yeah.
on. Anyway, that's not music related.
Yeah.
Tell us about the setup when you recorded Bear Mother, because it was when you was in Ireland, wasn't it? So tell us about because you did a video, didn't you? I think I saw a video that you did of it, and like you got like stuff leaning on the ironing board or whatever and stuff like that, and rickety old chairs holding up amplifiers and.
Yes, story of my life. I've had so many, even my short films, when I used to make short films.
Yeah.
I shot a movie called 8. Okay, it was a very short film for a film festival. And I acted in it, of course, because it's just me. It's always just me. I can never find people who have the same passion.
Yeah.
So when I shot 8, I literally had chairs, like for one scene, I would have chairs with books stacked this high to get the camera to be level with me, because I don't have a camera. Now my recording setup is pretty much the same. I don't have gear. When I came to Ireland, I had nothing. I had my laptop and my suitcase.
Yeah.
That's it. All my gear is back in Africa. My drum kit, I've got a shitload of stuff back in Africa, but not here.
Yeah.
So I borrowed a guitar and a practice amp from the guy who used to live in the house. The practice amp is Jesus, about this size.
Yeah.
You'll see on the video. It's a practice amp. It's not even a proper amp that you play in a garage with. But I had that, and I had the borrowed guitar, and I had my Metal Zone pedal, and the music had to come. So I had to little speakers like this. This was my mixing speaker for Bear Mother and for Underground. Okay, this is all I have. Even now, it's all I have. And I winged a Reaper. Don't know what's going on there. And I had my mic stand is a piece of wood, or was a piece of wood.
Yeah.
And my friend from the UK, Gary Appleby from the band 9 Times Dead. Awesome
I think
band.
I've heard the name.
Industrial gothic band. Excellent shit. He took pity on me, and he sent me 2 of his old mics that were lying around because I didn't have microphones. And that the mic that I used to record my singing is just a mic. It's not a fancy like condensed mic, and I just took insulation tape and taped the mic to the mic stand, which is a piece of wood because I don't have a mic stand. And recorded it that way.
Well, that's total DIY, total underground DIY. That is. That's like
exactly.
I reckon if you ever went into a studio, you wouldn't know what to do with yourself. You'd be like, "Oh, this is too. I can't handle this."
I have been in a studio. I was in a studio when I was 17 years old when I was recording with In-House Records. So I have seen that stuff before, but you're right. I probably wouldn't know how far to stand from it or whatever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. Because I'm so used to winging it.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like you say, if you've got the music in you and it's clawing to get out, you've got to let it out however you can. Exactly. You need to. Maybe I need to put some links for your old. Have you got your old movies? Because I think you did a music video for one of your films that I saw. There's a music video for one of the ones of a Sartre. I think we're all standing by a waterfall or in a river or something like that. I seem to recall.
That's Blood Eagle. Blood Eagle. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the video for Blood Eagle. Yeah.
And I think I did see like a little mini short that you did, sort of scary. I can't remember what it was about now, but it was like a scary kind of short that I remember seeing of yours. Maybe if you want me to post any of them in the blog, but if anyone wants to listen to LadyAxe's music, the links are all in the blog. The link down below takes you to the blog and all of your stuff that you can buy from Bandcamp and your Facebook page, and that is all there. Anything else you want to say about the Bear Mother release?
Nope, that's pretty much it. As far as I can remember, because I can't remember. Oh,
Yeah,
you want to jump to that?
that's what I was going to say, because when you were saying about Sartre, and I asked about Sartre earlier on, and I said, oh, because you're not playing any gigs, we did that one gig, but it's when you're playing gigs and playing the songs that you remember them, but because you're always moving on to the next project,
Exactly.
you're not playing the old stuff, apart from maybe you might listen to it every now and again. Yeah.
And because I'm continuously writing, and recording stuff,
Mm.
because there's a lot more to come. I can't stop. It is like
Yeah.
I opened this Pandora's box now,
Yeah.
and there's going to be at least 4 more albums in the next 4 years. Like
You got them all
this.
planned out. You got them all planned out ahead.
I've got them all in my head. I've got them on my written down, everything, ideas and tabs, and I
Yeah.
can listen to the rain outside and formulate a riff without meaning to. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one, and then just quickly write the tabs for it. So
Yeah.
I'm insanely creative right now because I was asleep for so long. I was
Right.
supposed to be a musician all my life, but life.
You missed the signs.
No, I just circumstances fucked me up
Yeah.
for 15 years and I couldn't
Yeah.
get back into music. In fact, I swore off music. And yet every day I sat in those offices, it's all I thought about. Like, oh, that's a song. Oh, that'd be a good song. Oh, wait, I don't do
Mm.
music anymore. You
Mm.
know? So I was
That
asleep
is.
for a very long time. And now that
Mm.
I know how to record, and now that I know, how the technical side works a bit better, now I'm hell bent for leather. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get all this stuff out because it's driving me crazy.
Yeah. Well, one thing we've not actually mentioned yet is you're also like a professional writer, aren't you? You write like ghost writing for people and stuff like that.
Yes.
You've done, I don't know how many books you've done, but with the underground releases I was just showing, this is a really
40.
good 40 books you've done.
I've written 40 novels and a shitload of short stories for people,
Yeah.
for other people. Yeah.
But then they put their name to them, don't they? You don't get them under your own name. Yeah, but you've got a few under your own name as well. And so with the underground release, you awesome concept for me is the fact that each of them is 8 tracks, and you've got 9 tracks, and each one has got a short story in this book, so you can buy the book and the blinking CD. So tell us about this. Was this is still recorded in the same place, the same setup as the last one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly the same setup. Only the difference is I watched a lot more YouTube, so I learned a lot more about recording. I got into Glenn Fricker, SMG. Glenn Fricker has his online advice of all things sound engineering,
Mm.
and he's so entertaining that even idiots like me can understand what he's talking about. So little things there, and little things from other guys' YouTube videos, instruction, and if I need to know how something works or what is this or how do I get that sound, I just go on YouTube and look for it. And that's how I learned a bit more about how to use Reaper and how to record better and how sound dynamics work. But I am I still don't have a clue, but I have a better
Mm.
clue than I did.
Yeah.
So Underground was the same setup. Actually, Bear Mother with this novel that I wrote. Can you see it? Animosity.
Animosity, yeah. I haven't got that one, I don't think. I'll have to get it one day.
Yeah. This one also, I did something similar. That was my first test of it because animosity explains what LadyAxe means.
Mm.
Because people think LadyAxe is LadyAxe. It's not. It's not a
Okay.
title. It's not like Queen Latifah, LadyAxe. It's not. It's LadyAxe. It is a witch. A LadyAxe. In this book, it explains that a LadyAxe is a witch, and it's a specific witch that conjures the Ursai, which is a tribe of bear people. They're like werewolves, but they're bears. Okay? And this book explains all that stuff that goes on the Bear Mother album as well. So it's also crossing, but it was it wasn't heavy. It wasn't meant to be that way. It just happened. So in the book, I explain a lot about the album, and the album I explain a lot about the book, but nobody knows that. Only people who read my books will get it. And then that's why with Underground, I did it full on. I
Yeah.
decided, let people know that this CD goes with this book. But the book only came about because I didn't want to print in the inlay, when the inlay, when you have your lyrics, I didn't want to do that. I wanted people to know what the songs were about because Underground was written specifically for Halloween season in 2019. So the songs I wrote, like all the songs I write, come from stories in my head, but nobody knows that. To them, it's just songs. And this time I decided to force it down their throats that these songs have backstories. And since it's Halloween and people love to hear ghost stories or macabre stories, I'm going to give it to them. I'm going to write an entire short story for every track so that people can listen to the album and go, oh, that's about that. And they get to have a short story book with all the lyrics from the album in it.
Ah. So they're actually in there in order, or just like hidden amongst it.
No,
okay.
In order. Every song.
Yeah, that's cool.
From the beginning to the end, every song has the lyrics, and then the story follows, and then the next song's lyrics, and then the story.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's on the yeah. I'm only on to the first one. Yeah, Bane. Yeah, that's right. It's there. I see it on the front. Cool. Yeah. Oh, I flipped past that one. So, what came first then? The chicken or the egg? No, the story or the song? Did you say like I wrote a song? I'm gonna write a story about it, or did you go? Oh, I've got an idea for a story. Oh, I'm gonna write a song about that story. How did it differ or
at the same time?
Same time.
Like I said before, it always happens at the same time. Only nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares what your songs are about when you're a nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. Yeah, it's just a song. Yeah, it's nice. They don't care about the lyrics or anything. And those people who do read the lyrics, to them, it's just lyrics. But I always have a backstory or a story, a reason for the song.
Yeah.
And this time, I wrote the song with already the story in my head. That's how the song was made. And then I would write the short story to follow it. So I finished the entire album first, kept the stories in my head, finished the entire album, and then as it came, I wrote those 8 stories in 2 weeks.
Wow,
it took me only 2 weeks, and it was just going. And
because I was already there in your head. You just had to get them out.
Yeah. What I would do is I would play, say, Bane on loop in my head, on my headphones. I would play the same song over and over and over so I can stay in that world, in that vibe. And while doing that, I would write the story. I would type out the story. Because most of my books that I write, I use music to put me in that world.
You're talking about like you like witchcraft and acid true and all that. Do you think that they're playing the song over and over again is like a kind of magic, like conjuring up the words?
It's a spell.
Huh?
It's
spell.
A spell. Yeah. It's an absolute. I think all art is witchcraft. I think all art is witchcraft. All art is a representation of the magic that we can be.
Yeah.
And most people don't bother, which is really sad. But I believe that all art is witchcraft in the way that it bewitches people. But only certain spells hit certain people.
Yeah.
And you have to have a certain frame of mind for that spell to influence you. That's how I see it.
Okay. So that thing you said about art being magic, have you heard of Alan Moore? You know Alan Moore? He's written a load of comic books and he said something, I'm sure he said something similar in some of the things he said, because he's all into magic as well. And he says like art is magic. You're creating and that's a magic spell or something. Yeah, something similar to that. Yeah, I can't remember his exact words.
No, you have to search it.
Yeah, he's into like his magic and he's written loads of comic stuff. And he said something similar about the creative forces is magic, like so art is magic kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Going to ask you about a couple of tracks on the Underground. Right, first of all, I want to ask you about the Black. So none of these are from mythology. These are all stories straight from your head. So they may sound like mythology. They're just sort of self-inventions.
Well,
is that right?
All the stories are mine. But like, for instance, let me see, Matilda of the Night, for instance, and Mr. Magpie. I think those two are the only two that are based loosely on actual folklore. But the
Okay.
magpie, you know the magpie thing? You
Still
know the
shiny
superstition.
things.
Yeah,
Or
the
the when
superstition.
you see your magpies, you one for sorrow, two for joy. That one.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So that one, it's the story in the book is my own story that I thought up, but
Yeah.
it is
Based on that
based
tradition.
on the superstition. And
Mm.
Matilda of the Night is the Maltinos. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Matilda of the Night is Welsh mythology.
Okay.
A huntswoman that was so obsessed with hunting that she said, "If there's no hunting in heaven, when I die, I don't want to go to heaven because there's no hunting." And
Right.
so the wild hunt came across the sky, turned her into an old hag, and put her in charge of, I can't pronounce these things, so I'm not going to say it, but the hellhounds.
Right.
She's now the keeper of the hellhounds. So,
Okay.
but the stories in the book I fabricated completely.
Yeah. But
All the
based.
other stories are completely fabricated, not
Okay.
based on any existing folklore.
Yeah. Matilda in the Night was one I wanted to ask about because there's a creator and a friend of mine on YouTube called Matilda Gothica, and so I thought I'd ask about that one. So shout out to Matilda, and also the Black Tarot of Hoya Bastu. It sounds Romanian, that name, Hoya Bastu, because my girlfriend does. Hoya Bastu, is it? Because my girlfriend does tarot, so I thought I'd ask you about that one. What's that song about?
That's probably my favorite story in the book. I don't want to give it away, but the song is
Okay.
about Do you know the forest of Hoyabachu? Have
No,
you
never
heard
heard
of it?
of it.
If you, I'm very much into ghost hunting and stuff like that.
Hmm.
It's a very well-known location for paranormal events of all sorts, from UFOs to, I believe it's just physics. I believe
Okay.
all ghosts and all whatever angels, whatever people talk about, that's all physics. And I can explain that, but the show is not long enough. So what Hoyabachu is the most haunted forest in Romania.
Right.
Okay, it is very well known for people disappearing into time loops and wormholes, and it's a very strange haunted place. And a lot of people are afraid of Hoyabachu. And what I wrote about it is what would happen if you run into someone in Hoyabachu who has a tarot deck, but the tarot does not do what it's supposed to do. It doesn't foretell your future. Instead, when you lay out the cards, you alter world events and you
Okay.
don't know it. Only the Black Tarot can do that. It is a device of the devil. Oh, okay. It's a device of the devil, a device of evil to bring forth all the catastrophes in the world. But play, pretend. It was because somebody was putting out these cards that way that the Holocaust happened. And then
Okay.
somebody else was given the cards innocently, laying out the cards. They brought hurricanes or earthquakes or
Yeah.
wars. And that is what the Black Tarot of Hoyabachi was about, is about somebody, her point of view, how she walked into the forest as a tourist and was given this tarot deck and told that she cannot come out of the forest until she lays out the cards. And then
Oh.
what happens?
Yeah, that's pretty heavy concept. That's pretty imaginative though, as well, of course. Very
Yeah,
cool.
well, I'm a writer.
Yeah, I know. It's a good, some interesting writing. Um, Actually, I was going to mention something before we move on, because you've got this is the most recent release, isn't it? But you've got another upcoming project, more based on like pantheons of gods from other places, haven't you? I saw you do a little sneak track, didn't you? Put a little sneak track up.
Where now? The latest one.
Yeah, I'm sure you put a little one that's it's on the way, isn't it? It's not come out yet, but you did put. I shared it out the other day. A couple. It's about the Aztec gods, wasn't it?
Yes, Aztec and Inca gods. It's only
Yeah.
a 4-track EP.
Uh,
It is actually ready to go, but
yeah.
I'm trying to get Anushka to do one or two solos for me
Yeah.
before just to embellish it a little bit. So that's coming soon,
Okay.
like in a week or two.
Ah, cool. So everyone can just get to your Bandcamp. So is it all Aztec gods then? So like, you said you've got like albums planned in advance. You've got 4 albums. Is it none of them are going to be the same thing? It's got a different theme for each album. Is it? Do you go with like a concept, like
Yes.
you feel like you're also
Yes.
actually. Listen, wait, I'll let you talk about that, and then we'll go on to the next question.
Okay. The reason I do that is because I realized with Asatru that people started calling me a Viking metal artist. Viking metal artist. I don't
Yeah.
think Viking metal should be a subgenre. I think any kind of metal can sing about Viking mythology or Norse mythology, whatever. And I felt pigeonholed. There are other things I want to talk about. I still want to. I'm obsessed with Greek mythology. I'm
Hmm.
obsessed with Finnish mythology, and I never. If I called myself Viking metal, I would never be able to explore and bring in. I mean, you introduce people to different cultures. That's why I'm obsessed with Rotting Christ. That's what they do for me. They use other cultures and languages to bring across an ideology, and that's what I love to do. But you can't do that if you only do Viking metal or only
Yeah.
Norse mythology. So every album has a different lesson, has a different things I want to say to you, but I use different pantheons for it. And not just
Hmm.
pantheons, I like ghost stories. So I like the horror handle as well. So doing songs about with horror themes or ghost story or macabre themes, that throws me out of the mythology thing again. But it doesn't matter because every album has its own world. That's why I like doing that.
Yeah. And we've not actually sort of spoken about your genre, but you just like clean vocal, heavy metal. But you got kind of a bit more doomy, haven't you, on the most recent one? I'm sure I saw you posting.
I prefer
So
doom.
yeah. So you say your style is changing as well. So although your lyrics change for each album, I do think the styles change for each album as well.
Yes, my styles have changed because I'm more coming into my own. I
Hmm.
used to do power metal because people told me that's the only thing my voice is good for. Okay?
Yeah.
So I've been listening to people too much. They bitch that I don't growl, but they listen to Danzig and Judas Priest. Why can they not growl, but I'm supposed to? You know?
Yeah.
And so I decided to break away from what people think. And the other day, a guy said to me, "Your music's heavy as fuck, and then you spoil it with clean vocals." And I'm like, "Then don't listen to it. That's me. That's me. I'm heavy
Yeah.
as fuck, and I have clean vocals. Deal with it."
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't like it, don't listen to it. It's that simple. But I'm not going to be just another female growler who fits in with all the others. Just because my music's heavy, I've now got to fit that in. That's bullshit. That's not what art is about.
Hmm.
So I do my clean vocals because that's what I'm good at.
You've got a powerful voice as well.
Yeah, and I've got to use it. There's
Hmm.
no use. There's no use trying to fit in with other things. That's why when Drama Noir now asks me to collaborate with them, that is a big thing for me because I've been compared to Diamanda Galas.
Hmm.
Whoa, that's that's amazing. And now they're releasing their album end of August, and already there's so much interest in LadyAxe just for the intro that I did for them
Cool.
because of the comparison with Diamanda Galas. So
Yeah.
I decided not to care that I have clean vocals anymore. I'm going to use it, and those who
Yeah.
like it will like it, and those who don't, listen to something else.
Yeah. And like we said from like earlier on in the interview, you do your own music, do your own thing, and like if
Yeah,
it's not true to you, then people will know, will kind of will sense it. That people
and
sense
I
when
will
people are
know.
being,
I
yeah,
will know you're not happy when you're a fake because
yeah,
you know you're a fake.
yeah,
I'd rather have 5 fans because of who I am, people who get me, than to have thousands of fans and I'm a fake. I'm
yeah,
throwing the horns, but I am actually into opera kind of shit.
yeah,
I'm not a hypocrite. So
yeah,
that's why, yeah, I would rather have less fans who appreciate what I do.
Yeah. So, where do you think you're going to go with your lyrical themes? So you're planning up ahead. So we've got the Incans now. So we're going to have a Greek themed one at some point. And have you got it in order how you want to do it, or?
No, I don't have it in order, but I definitely the next one will be Greek because, like I said, with Drama Noir now, they're a huge Hellenic black metal band, and the vocals I do on there is what I call Greek singing. I don't know what you call it, what you're supposed to call it, but to me, it's always been in movies like Troy and whatever. It's the Greek singing.
Yeah.
And because I love doing those kind of vocals, if I make an album about Greek mythology, I can easily incorporate that. You see, so that's my next plan. But that will be a full album, and that will be proper heavy, because this At War with Amaru, the new EP about the Incas and the Aztecs, is very mellow. It's very mellow. It's not my heaviest work, but it needed to be done.
Right. Is that because that's how you was just feeling it at the time? You like,
yeah.
You still go through phases.
I wanted to explore. I've got a vocal range that is quite large. So I feel like I'm wasting it if I do the same thing the whole time. So At War with Amaru needed more gritty, pretty reckless kind of vocals somewhere. And the other place I went Twisted Sister, because I can.
Yeah.
Why not do it? Because you can, And then that's why the album ended up being more mellow, more hard rockish instead of metal. But the next one is going to go doom again.
Right. So on my comic videos that I do, I always do a jingle at the end. I should get you to do a jingle for me. Sing a jingle for my channel.
It'd be awesome.
Something I want to talk about to do with your work with your literature, because you are as well. You do art. You do like miniature films. I'm not sure how much art you've done. I don't think I've ever seen much of your art actually. What? I know you got a page for your art, but is that something that you're big on at the moment, or?
No,
not enough time.
No, I just do art. I very rarely get hit with it. Like I can sit and watch a movie, and suddenly I have to sculpt. I have to sculpt right now, and that doesn't happen to me as often as the music or the writing does. And that's what the art page is for. It's for the stuff that I do, the shrunken heads that I've made out of clay.
I've seen them actually. I remember now.
Yeah, and the gargoyles and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just to show that I can do that too, and this is what I do when I do that. So it's not really an official thing.
No, but it's just another facet of your creative. I was going to say, when you come to do your Greek thing, when you got to do something about the muses, because you're always getting hit by different muses. You've got the muse to make music, the muse to make art, the muse to make film.
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
and it's always the same guy, but it's for different art. It's the same guy. It's the same muse. I've got one muse.
Yeah, because there's different muses for different things, aren't there? Different muses to influence different creative things. I'm sure. Yes. I can't remember all the names now, but
for my personal, I've got one muse, and that's Themistolis. It's one muse I have, and it just happens. And
but that's not a classic Greek mythology muse, though, is it? That's a handsome Greek man muse.
No, that's a muse. I don't understand the thing with him though, because he's just a guy. But for some reason, the image I think that he has a strange supernatural level to it that makes me create these things, because I write about a creature that looks like him. I wrote a book, The House That Ate Bone, is about him.
Okay, because there was a quote, wasn't there? Of his, Just for anyone who doesn't know, who is Themistolis? Is it Themis? What? Who is he? Tell the people.
He's the drummer of Rotting Christ.
Yeah, he's your personal muse.
He's my personal muse. Yes.
Awesome. And you're currently working. So I remember hearing doing like ghostwriting. Would you call it ghostwriting or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ghostwriting. Yeah.
It's like dinosaur vor, from what I.
I thought the guy was joking. I thought he was joking.
And it's
I
like
said,
dinosaurs eating social media people.
I said to him, you want dinosaurs to rip up sexy women that you find on Instagram? And he goes, yes. I'm like, okay, well, I am a word whore, so you got the money, I do the thing. So I started writing dinosaur gore, and he sends me folders of Instagram girls, random Instagram girls.
Oh.
And then he says to me, this is just for reference, because apparently he thinks I can't think people up, but I have to describe. He gives them different names, and he says this one must look like that, and that one must look like that, and they must be killed in this way. And he sends me graphic novel material of dinosaurs ripping up naked women. And it suits me fine because I'm a sick fuck too. So for me, the freedom of being able to be as sick as I want to be, because I'm a very violent, bloodthirsty, sexual kind of person. So so gore and explicit gore and nudity or whatever. And this guy says, "Get as sick as you want to be," and that's a good project for me.
And then was
weird.
he paying you?
It's a very strange. I've never heard of it before.
It's got to be a niche. I know there's something called vor where people get off on like people being eaten or being eaten themselves.
I didn't know about that.
But I think mostly it's like dreaming of them, not actually eating
or
people,
cannibalism or something.
Yeah, but I don't think they actually think about really actually do it. I mean, obviously there are some. There was that German bloke who met up with another bloke, and he ate his penis
who wanted to be eaten.
Met a guy who wanted to eat somebody.
The guy actually showed up. He actually showed up to be eaten.
They actually ate his penis. Apparently, between them, they shared it. Oh,
I don't blame. It's probably the first place I'd go.
It's like, oh my! Apparently, it was very chewy. Apparently, I remember reading in an article. I mean, that's got to be the most strange literary thing that you've been asked. Have you made anything else of weirdness like that, or is that the top?
Well, I did write for a South African company that wanted me to write about cannibalism. They also gave me free rein. They said the sicker you get, the more we like it.
Oh.
And they were very organized. They had specific frameworks that they would send me, like, in this episode, this is the basic storyline. As long as somewhere in the story you include DP, cannibalism, and male domination. Right. And then the next month they would send me another story outline. And as long as you include this, this, and this, but weird, twisted out there.
Did these things ever actually get printed up anywhere or sold on Amazon? Or is it just for their own pleasure?
I don't know, because I have to sign an NDA that says I won't use it. But I never go hunting for these things, because to me it's a project. Like, you pay me and I do the thing, and then that's your thing. And I'm not sure I want to know what they do with the material. Maybe they're writing a Halloween book too.
Maybe. It just feels like a dark world though, I've got to say. It just gets like a scary old world.
It's true, but it's interesting, at least.
Okay, so we're coming up to the hour now, so we need to start sort of wrapping up. I try to keep these like just over an hour or something. So, messages for people, things you've got planned, stuff of yours you want them to check out. How is this? If someone was to buy one of your albums from Bandcamp tonight, or when they see this video, which album would you suggest they was to buy?
Underground, for
Underground.
Sure. Underground. It's the only album I am quite proud of, because not only for once I brought my creativity along to a proper production for a change, because that's the only album that has both for me. It has the best production I've done so far, which doesn't say much, but that's the best production I've done so far, with the best songs I think I've written so far. Plus, it was my vocal skills are much better on this album than anywhere else, I think. So this
Cool.
would be the one. Yeah.
Why are your vocal skills better? Is your voice improved? Have you learned new tricks to make it better this time, or
No,
is it just the recording process?
I just ventured into places where I thought other people wouldn't be happy to hear that. Like
Right.
I've got low vocals in it that I never do because everybody says you've got a power metal voice, you should do
Yeah.
the high Judas Priest screams. Great, I can do that too. But on
Mm.
Underground, I actually bothered to go into the Diamanda Galas, and I went into the more bluesy
Experimented.
sound. Yes, and I didn't feel guilty about it this time.
Yeah, you should never feel guilty for fucking flexing
I
your
know, but
creative muscles.
you do feel a little bit because people keep
Yeah.
reminding you, and it's. But this time I didn't give a shit.
Yeah. You just got to remind yourself that you're the shield maiden bear mother and fucking you do what you want to do. That's what you need to remind yourself.
They don't like.
Yeah. Anyway, I've had a fucking good time chatting with you, mate, and I've always
It was
enjoyed
great.
playing your tracks and seeing your posts on Facebook and all that. So keep on rocking
Glad
and
to hear that.
everything.
And thank you so much for having me. It was great
No.
that somebody's actually interested in what I'm doing. That's
Oh
fantastic.
yeah, always. And hopefully, a few more people will get interested. Fingers crossed. And maybe when you get
Yes.
another album out, we'll have another chat. If I'm still doing these interviews, hopefully,
Oh, you will be. Oh, you will be.
Hopefully. Anyway, I'll let you sign off with the last message to everybody, and I'll end the broadcast after that.
All right, everybody. Do what you're meant to do, and look for your signs, because they will never let you down. That's my message.
Awesome.
See ya.